Okay.
I'm just going to take my jacket. I'm a little hot under the collar doing this 1 second. You didn't start it.
No, not yet. 7 minutes, you can see that the red light is on. So.
Right. Well, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Jeffrey.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and members and guests, and Gula.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Nice to meet you today. Well, this past weekend, our family went to Washington to visit, to celebrate our son's commencement. And I missed the annual Spring Toastmasters Conference Saturday. So now, I don't know, did anybody from here go to that conference?
One or two.
So I would like to hear from you about, what happened there, because what I'm here to talk about tonight is to ask each one of you, and maybe amongst yourselves, like, how might I plan being a member of Toastmasters, this being only my second speech? And I've thought about planning. I've read some things. I won't go into how I figured this out, but the conventional wisdom of planning is to set a course of action, have measurable goals, like, to become a better speaker, who, what, where, how, communication strategies. But would anybody offer to suggest what the first step in planning anything is? What's the first step? Would anybody want to venture to say what they might think the first step in planning is? Yes?
Show up at meetings.
No, planning in a generic sense. Show up at meetings. Yeah, show up. That's what Woody Allen said. Woody Allen said most of life is showing up, and that's what I did in boot camp, and that's what I'm doing here. Another step, yes? Another.
Set a goal or an idea where you want to go, and then you can plan towards that.
Yes, that's getting closer to what I was going to say, but that's, yeah. Yes? This is a guessing game.
Have a clear purpose.
Have a
First
clear
step.
purpose. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, well, the first step in planning from a Western philosophical point of view is brainstorming or have a mood of speculation to kind of set that purpose that you're talking about. You got to be, even before you have the purpose, you got to brainstorm. Like what happened to me is brainstorming, which is what I'm going to talk about. The Eastern philosophy is like a meditative stillness perspective where all creativeness comes from. Now, I don't really know. That's all. I'm a dentist. I mean, so I can see that that's about as far as I can tell you. But this weekend, while listening to the keynote commencement speaker, Dr. Lonnie Bunch, at Max's graduation, I realized in a brainstorming way how much I already learned being a member of Toastmasters. Now, granted, I'm a member of the North Shore, and I gave this speech Monday, so it's not totally like, I didn't want you people to think I just stood up. I had a little practice. But anyway, Toastmasters has tuned my ear to listening to a seasoned public speaker. Even though this is my second speech here, I've listened how this Lonnie Bunch was organized, he got to the point, and how to say it. That's all the speeches I've given so far, so that's all I could look at. But Lonnie Bunch is the African-American historian and founder of the African-American Cultural Studies at the Smithsonian National Museum. And I could identify how he did his opening. He did his opening. I said, wow, that was a great opening. He said, his little young daughter said, "What, Daddy, why did they ask you to speak?" He told her, because I graduated college and got a job. So I'm sitting there, my son is graduating college, and he's got a little job walking dogs or something, I don't know. This became his speech's segue into telling the new job-seeking graduates many lessons for planning their futures, such as think beyond yourselves. Me sitting there prompted me, would anybody ever ask me to speak at Toastmasters? Why did they want to listen to me? And does anybody speak anywhere else in Toastmasters? Other than Toastmasters, you just give speeches here. And what have some of the more seasoned speakers, the people that have been members here, what do you do with all this? What's the next step? How can I help my son find a job? Maybe I ought to give him a speech, because these are on YouTube, you can watch it. In any case, Dr. Lonnie Bunch, knew certainly project number 4, how to say it. when he came to telling, there are times in life you can't even anticipate a plan. And he told the following story, and I wrote it down. I was taking notes. His story that he said he didn't talk about very much. One day, when he was walking home from school as a child, he was attacked by a white mob with bats. So Lonnie ran as fast as he could in terror with these people, with these mob behind him. And he came up to a house and he fell down in the driveway, and the mob was right about upon him, and all of a sudden the door to the house opened. And a little girl appeared. 5-year-old girl appeared. And she shouted, "Get off my property," she said. And she wasn't talking to Dr. Bunch. And so with this I ask, how do you plan Toastmasters? Is it to be a better speaker? Is the palpable paradigm, or should we look to have a paradigm shift or some other paradigm, such as some other opportunities of what we're doing here? I'll stay with my subject. Dr. Bunch went on to say that his grandparents shelled peanuts and picked cotton all their lives with the plan that someday they were going to transcend themselves and offer a transformation for future generations. This reminded me of chatting with a college graduate at the North Shore who said that he wished that Toastmasters spoke at his college, and that he had wished that he had done this, he had become a member sooner. Then Dr. Bunch told of his activist friends, Mr. Stubbs, whose plan in life was never to hesitate to picket and face attack dogs and fire hoses and mace. But now, because Mr. Stubbs is losing his hearing and his eyesight, he had to modify his plan. So Stubbs asked Dr. Bunch, "Just point me in the right direction." And as a new Toastmaster member, I ask you, just point me in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Being the father of 2 college graduates, I always like this bumper sticker.